What's up, guys? Gamescom yesterday brought us another all-new Alan Wake 2 reveal trailer. I cannot wait to watch this. I skipped Gamescom specifically for this reason. I wanted to be able to watch it with you guys, and then we'll critique it and kind of pick it out and all that kind of stuff. So like always, it's me, the Potatonator. Let's jump into it.
Peggy 18.
In a horror story, there are only victims and monsters. And the trick is not to end up as either. But trapped by the genre, we're all ripped to pieces along the way.
No! Welcome! We have a great show for you here tonight. Alan Wake, one of my all-time favorite writers, and this on the show. He's here to talk about his latest book. Initiation tells the story of a fictional writer named Alan Wake, who is trapped in a nightmare, desperately trying to find the manuscript of a novel he has forgotten he has written.
Did you write these pages, Mr. Wake?
I'm trying to remember it. You're the killer, the cult bleeding.
No! You got the wrong man! It's my fault! He got out!
Wake has a double. Where is he now?
I don't want to be in the story, just write me out of the story.
All right. Just wow. That is ooh. That gave me some chills on that. I like that. Obviously pre-order bonuses before the 26th is when the game comes out. Looks like they've got cosmetics. Unless it's going to add actual weapons, that'd be kind of cool. Like having different weapons, adds a little bit more to the Resident Evil style of gameplay. But it just looks like these are going to be cosmetics for the sawed-off, cosmetic for the rifle, cosmetic for the Magnum handgun. Also looks like you've got the suit for Alan Wake. That's a callback to a certain character that we'll talk about here in just a second. Looks like we also have some cosmetics for Saga as well. This almost looks like the one that was in the trailer, except it's a different color. It's blue, not red, so that's kind of cool. But before we jump into the review, I just want to let you know, like, pretty soon up in the top right corner, if you haven't seen Alan Wake, I do have a full review, a full playthrough of Alan Wake Remastered that you can go watch. I will also link my Twitch because I have Alan Wake's American Wasteland on my Twitch. The sound wasn't the greatest, so I haven't put it on my channel yet, but you can definitely go watch it on YouTube, or not YouTube, sorry, Twitch. I do have a review of the first trailer that they put out for Alan Wake 2. I also have a review of the Saga gameplay trailer as well, so that link for that playlist will be in the upper right hand corner. Let's start this review, shall we? So going back to the beginning.
In a horror story, there are only...
Oh, actually, hold on. We're going to lower that because it was really loud.
victims and monsters. And the trick is not to end up as either. But trapped by the genre, we're all ripped to pieces along the way.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Nope. Okay. So we're gonna go back here. Nope, too far. So I'm just gonna assume right away that this is Mr. Scratch. Mr. Scratch only appears once in the original Alan Wake, but he is then the main. Well, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the game's been out for close to 10 years. Mr. Scratch is the main antagonist in Alan Wake's American Nightmare. So I'm just right away. He's dirty. The suit's messed up. He's just more disheveled than the Alan who was sitting at the desk. So I want to assume this is Mr. Scratch, but in the original Alan Wake, in the DLCs, Alan Wake is actually split in two. There is a reasonable Alan and then an unreasonable Alan. So this could also call back to that. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be Mr. Scratch. Big thing here on the door, right here on the door, that looks like a symbol from the Ocean View Motel. Now, if you guys haven't played Control, the Ocean View Motel is basically a hotel out of time. Basically, like it's like its own like space that Jesse Faden uses to kind of travel between places of the oldest house. You go through it several times, and then especially like with the AWE DLC as well for Alan Wake. So that's reminiscent of the Ocean View Motel. So it has to be Mr. Scratch, because in Alan Wake's American Nightmare, you don't have anything to do with the Ocean View Motel. Or anyway, you're fighting him in Arizona, so it's completely away from the cabin. So again, another spoiler, you do beat him, but it doesn't really say if that was actually a thing or not. And I'll get to more of that a little bit later in the review, because there's some other things that pop up that call back to it. But again, door looks like it's from the Ocean View Motel. He comes out of the Ocean View Motel. This has got to be Mr. Scratch. And going back to the only time you really see him in Alan Wake is another callback, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the review. So going forward, you see how he's all disheveled, and then the one on the desk is actually really neat and clean and all that, and his reaction to it. So I'm assuming that's Mr. Scratch.
Welcome. We have a great show for you here tonight. Alan Wake, one of my all-time favorite writers, and this on the show. He's here to talk about his latest book.
So, and then if you did catch it, so this is Mr. Door. So this is the talk show. It's in between with Mr. Door. I'm pretty sure that's what the talk show was. And this character is a reference also from Control. Once Jessie frees her brother, her brother's in isolation, and he kind of is still in and out with the hiss and things like that. Again, spoilers for Control. But he talks about a Mr. Door who is in all realities, and that there's a multiverse. Obviously, there's a multiverse. And that in one multiverse, a writer writes about a cop, and in another universe, that cop is real. So that was a reference to Alex Casey, which we actually will see here in the review, in the trailer. If you missed it, I'll pause it and we'll go back to it. But this character is Mr. Door, and Dylan Faden, which is Jesse's brother, mentions Mr. Door as being someone who's in all realities at all times. So, and he's holding a book, which it's called Alan Wake. Is that Initiation? But he's saying the book is about him being trapped in the cabin. But we know for a fact that the manuscripts were named Departure and Return. So where did this one come from? This is supposedly, like, since this is a real life deal, this is supposed to be like a real life book that Alan Wake has written. And obviously by his reaction, he's confused. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not, he doesn't know what he's actually being here for.
Tells the story of a fictional writer named Alan Wake, who is trapped in a nightmare.
Oh, of course I missed that. He just said fictional character when Alan Wake is actually real. So I wonder what that means. That could point to a different reality altogether, where Alan Wake, the character, is a character from a book. Ooh, that's interesting. And then this right here falls back to the DLCs of Alan Wake. I say Alan Wake Remastered, but it's Alan Wake. The Signal and the Writer is when you had the two different Alans. You had the reasonable Alan, you had the unreasonable Alan. The unreasonable Alan talked through TVs, kind of narrating what was going to happen next. So you would hear him say something and it would actually happen, but he would be in the, we'll say, the pessimistic view, the negative view, where he would say something, but then the final sentence of whatever he was saying was, and Alan couldn't keep up, or and Alan got swallowed by the darkness and stuff like that. And then you, obviously, as playing as the reasonable Alan, are trying to get through it so that you can get back to the cabin and basically fix yourself.
Desperately trying to find the manuscript of a novel he has forgotten he's written.
So that's the synopsis
Did
of
you
Alan
write
Wake.
these pages, Mr. Wake?
I'm trying
And
to
so,
remember it.
so going back to this, whoop, 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 too far. This right here, this shirt is the shirt he was wearing in Alan Wake's American Nightmare. It's the exact same shirt. So obviously, they find him afterwards, because in the first trailer, when Saga was looking at Alan Wake, he was all like disheveled. Oh my goodness, that makes more sense. That in the original trailer, the Alan Wake she was looking at was Mr. Scratch, and this is actually oh my goodness, that just opened up something crazy as a thought. Let's continue.
Remember it.
And then so here's that call. This is Alan.
Killer.
And here is Alex Casey. So Alex Casey is the cop that Alan Wake wrote about in his universe. But we know that Alex Casey comes from Max Payne, and this could be where this universe the cop is real. But in this instance, which I'm assuming where they're at is a like dark place New York. It's not actually in New York, but it could be another universe New York. But they meet, and this is where he said he must be talking about the book that Alan has written, because it could be part of the story.
The cult leader.
No! You've got the wrong man!
So, and then right there was the manuscript that he was writing to get out of the cabin, which was called Return.
Got the wrong man!
I don't know what that guy's for. But again, he's wearing the shirt from American Nightmare. As a matter of fact, too far. So it's the exact same outfit, but he has longer hair. Oh, no, does he? No, it's got he's got the short hair. Okay. No, he kind of does. I don't know. But again, it kind of calls back. It's a callback to American Nightmare, because that's the exact outfit. It's the exact outfit. But when talking about Mr. Scratch, spoiler alert, if you haven't played it, Alan definitely, for lack of a better term, defeats Mr. Scratch. But Mr. Scratch does talk about the dark place bringing him into being, which means the dark place could just probably bring him back. So maybe he's an undefeated type of thing. So let's go.
He got out!
Wake has a double.
Hold on.
Wake has a double.
He got out!
Wake has a
Sorry.
It's my fault! He got out!
Wake has a double. Where is he now?
So that means Saga figured out that obviously there is another Alan, which is Mr. Scratch. So she figures, and then he says, it's my fault, it got out, which I want to assume he's referring to Mr. Scratch as a representation of the darkness and of the dark place. So that's why he says it and not him or they. So that makes that, it's not the same color. It is. That's the DLC, the pre-order bonus. Okay. And then once again, he's there faded in the background, but you see him. He literally looks like he does in American Nightmare.
Wake has a double. Where is he now?
And so I liked how this, listen to this again. So they changed the sound effect. It's not this high-pitched whine. It's now a lower pitched, and then kind of like a water bubble explosion instead of that kind of fireworky explosion from the first one, which I liked. The whine was a little annoying, but they may have noticed that. Now, looking at this, I don't know if they said that, but it looks like Saga's gameplay has hearts that you have to then hit. They have a weak point. I'm assuming after you get the darkness away from them, which that's kind of cool. She has a different type of gameplay. And what is this? she has a crossbow. That's pretty dope. Now, I know you could get a crossbow in American Nightmare, but I was like, meh. I used the assault rifle the whole game. It was really funny because early on in the playthrough, I'm like, I don't like the assault rifle. It sucks. And then use it for the rest of the game. So, but that's really cool that she has a crossbow. Really good plays on light here. Once again, he is in full-blown American Nightmare look. Got shorter hair. His hair is cut. So I wonder if this takes place. It's got to take place before, right? Like, it could take place after. But if he really was out in American Nightmare, and if he's really out now, then this would have to take place. Yeah, where would it fit in a timeline? Because American Nightmare is technically an episode of Night Springs, quotation marks. That's how it's perceived and given, because there's a narrator that does the Night Springs stuff from the TV shows, but he does it in an American Nightmare. And it's funny because the radio announcer inside the series actually flips, and you hear the narrator for Night Springs a little bit, and then he flips back to the radio announcer. So it's really kind of throws you off.
I don't want to be in the story.
But then now you look at this. This looks similar to how the director talked to Jesse Faden in Control, with the kind of like memories from the service weapon. But this doesn't quite look like Alan. This outline kind of looks like Alex Casey. So we'll figure out, obviously, as we play the game. And this may not even be gameplay. This may actually be, I don't know if that's gameplay or not. It looks so good. So let's go back. Hold on real quick. I don't know if that's gameplay or if that's an actual like cutscene. It just looks so good.
The story just write me out of the story.
Okay, now again, listen to the next part of the sentence, and I'll explain why it's important. Okay, so that line right there, that whole sentence, is exactly what Thomas Zane tells Alan towards the end of Alan Wake Remastered. You literally enter the dark place, and you meet Zane, and you talk to Zane for a minute, and as the camera pans, you see a duplicate of Alan. And Thomas Zane literally goes, "Oh, don't worry. That's Mr. Because in the game, his name is Mr. Scratch, but whenever you hear his name, it's like an audible scratch, so you actually don't hear his name. So technically, like if you have subtitles on, you can see that it's Mr. Scratch, but if you didn't have subtitles on, it would be really hard to tell if he says Scratch or not. But he literally says, "Don't worry, your friends will meet him when you're gone." So that leads the player to believe, obviously, that you're not gonna make it out in the first game, first off. But it's funny because the game's like 10-something years old, so I don't even know if they were thinking about it, but it obviously leads into American Nightmare, which they did pretty soon after. But it also leads into, obviously, it leads into this one. But that's really significant because now we know that this character, this character right here, that is definitely Mr. Scratch. So, do this. Towards the end here, those look like the manuscript pages that he was writing. Now, having said that, actually thinking about the manuscript, we'll do this point real quick. I know I'm going over a little bit. She's talking about the manuscript, like, so when he says this, so this says Initiation, written by Alan Wake, and that it's about a fictional character named Alan Wake. It's Initiation. When he shows the manuscript, see if I can find it. Here it is. This is Return by Alan Wake. We know that. Departure was for Alan Wake, the original, and then Return was supposed to be so that he could get out of the dark place. But, let's see if I can. Where'd he go? Is it here?
The wrong man!
I'm trying to figure it out. They showed him. There it is. There it is. Oh, come on, you. Oh. Oh, this is gonna be so hard. But I mean, you do see it. Ooh.
It's my fault!
Trying to click on it super fast. Ah. Jeez, there it is. There it is, finally. He is scratching out. Oh, he's scratching out Alan Wake. Oh, I thought he was scratching out Return. No, he's scratching out Alan Wake. I wonder if that means that Mr. Scratch wrote Initiation about Alan Wake, and that's where that book comes from. That's very interesting. But that's where we'll end it. Again, definitely pre-order the game. I know, like, pre-ordering is not good for certain things, but I heard a whole bunch of controversy about them just doing digital only. I haven't actually looked into that. But if it is, I mean, cool, just get it on your console, Xbox or PS5, or PC. I think they're doing PC as well. Just get some cool cosmetics. I mean, that's pretty dope. But definitely, once again, I do have a full playthrough of Alan Wake on the channel. I have a full playthrough of American Nightmare on my Twitch, which I'll link in the description. I can't wait for this game. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. What you think is going to happen? Do you think that was really Mr. Scratch? Do you think he wrote Initiation? Let me know what you think. But as always, like the video. Lets me know if you guys like my content, and I'll continue to make more Alan Wake content before the game comes out. And I'm hoping to get a copy of the game so that I can play it as soon as it comes out. But we'll see on that. And don't forget, again, like I said, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I'll be back. See you guys.